Hey, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about this. Okay, so we had a very, very busy weekend. I didn't get a video up as soon as I would have wanted to. Usually can get it done on a Sunday during the weekend, but I had a lot of other stuff going on. Couldn't get it up. But anyway, usually weekends are pretty slow as far as news, politics, everything else. But there's quite a bit that happened. We had the final night of the DNC that I didn't get to put a video up about. Kamala's speech, accepting her candidacy for the presidency, her nomination, which she didn't receive a single vote for. I digress. Anyways, and we had on Saturday, RFK drops out of the presidential race as an independent and backs President Trump and endorses him. And then I saw today Tulsi Gabbard came out and endorsed Trump officially as well. There was rumors and talks about that going on. Um, Tulsi getting President Trump ready for the debate against Kamala, and they came out and made it official today. She was at a rally that he had. I believe it was in Detroit. Could be wrong about that, but I know it was at a National Guard thing. So we have that, but we're gonna go over a few things, and now we're gonna go into the Harris campaign here. And anyway, so the Harris her acceptance speech. Now I'm gonna tell you, it was pretty much just her. It was a lot of lies and a lot of attacks against President Trump, and it was pretty crazy to say the least. Anyways, um, I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna go over her whole speech because a lot of it, like the first 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes was just her talking about her family and how her upbringing was and how she came from the middle class, and she thanked her husband in the beginning and his two daughters, and I know one of them is a pro Hamas person who's actually donated to that terrorist organization. But anyway, a lot of different stuff that she said that wasn't true, and anybody that just takes 2 seconds to look this stuff up can tell that she's lying. But a lot of people don't bother with it. So anyway, let's take a look at this here, and y'all can tell me. This is the first one. This is just like I said. This is her, and we'll see what she has to say here on this.
Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. And now, for an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans.
Okay, look, first thing, it's an outright lie to just come out and say that he sent an armed mob to the Capitol, which was not the case, okay? For one, he said, we are going to march down to the Capitol and make our voices heard peacefully and patriotically. Make our voices heard. And there was not an armed mob, okay? The one person that got shot was a civilian, and Ashley Babbitt, she died. It wasn't an armed mob, and to say so is an outright lie. And for her to come out and just say that was the case, she just thinks that people are stupid and that they're just going to believe everything that this woman says. That's her brainwaves. Everybody that listens to her is stupid and is going to take her at face value. Anyway, Let's just move on to the next one here. And here we go.
We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools.
Look, since the Department of Education was founded in 1980, I believe it was. Do you know how much they've spent? It's anywhere from 721 billion to over 118 billion, I'm sorry, 810 billion, and this is annually. Okay, now this money goes to each state. That's a lot of money, and there was look. I'm a Trump fan. I like him. There's a lot of stuff that he did during his presidency that I don't agree with. I don't agree with who he put in charge of the education. The Department of Education. I didn't like the pick, and I thought she didn't do a very good job whatsoever. But I didn't think it was a very good pick when he picked her. That being said, I don't remember him ever saying that he was going to overhaul or get rid of, for that matter. I don't remember that ever being something that he said. Maybe somebody can send me a link or something with saying something different, but I've never seen or heard that. So I don't believe her when she says that crap either. So, but like I said, this is all just it's all lies, and she expects people to just take her at face value because she thinks you're stupid and that you can't think for yourself. Everything she says, you have to take at face value. You have to take her at her word because you can look the stuff up and see that everything that she says is an outright lie. Anyway, like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on her, so we're gonna go ahead and move to the next one again here.
Especially at our border.
Oh, here we go.
Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades. The Border Patrol endorsed it. But Donald Trump
No, they didn't.
believes a border deal would hurt his campaign.
Wasn't the case.
So he ordered his allies in
No, he didn't.
Congress to kill the deal.
Look, this is they brought this up a lot. And this is a little bit harder to get into, but you can find it if you actually look for it. That border bill that she's talking about, that the Democrats, or the Republicans rather, I'm sorry. The Republicans shot it down, yes. Because in that border bill, you can't even, it's not a border bill if you're sending $60 billion of that money to fund the foreign wars. And then only 10 billion of it that went to the actual border, and not a single penny of it going to the border wall. So you can't call something a border bill when you have I don't even, what is that? Less than, what is that, 5% of the bill? 5% of the funding in the bill doesn't even go to the, just that goes to the border. The rest of it goes somewhere else. You can't call that a border bill. That's a lie. That's another lie. Like I said, this one's a little bit harder to debunk, but many people have done it. I've looked into it myself. It's just another lie that they're pushing, because this is one of their talking points is, oh, Trump doesn't want to do anything about the border because it's going to help him get elected. It's just do some research on it. You can tell the reason why that was shut down is because of all the money going to foreign wars and 5% of it going to the border. You can't call that a border bill. No, you just can't do it. Anyway, we'll go on to the next one here. See, bring that over. Here we go.
President Biden and I are working around the clock, because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about this real quick too, because look, she keeps saying when I'm elected, when I get into the presidency, when I get in, I can do this, I can do that. When I get, she's in now. I've said this before. Many people have said it now. She's been in that office of the vice presidency for 3.5 years. Nothing's stopping her from doing things now. Okay? She can do what she wants. She can write a bill. She can talk to the President Biden wherever he's at on vacation this week. Because we know he doesn't do anything. He went out on vacation. He spoke at the DNC last week. And then they put him on a plane and he went on vacation for a week. He came back for less than a day. And now he's on vacation again. So nobody even knows who's running the country. Why does when I get in, I can do this. When I get in, I can do that. Do it now. Nobody's in the Oval Office. Do it now, Kamala.
And let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself.
Her pro-Hamas base is not going to like this. She does take it back a little bit. And I heard somebody earlier, I can't remember who it was I was watching, but I was watching somebody earlier and they had the perfect analogy where they just ran over one side of it and then they just backed up and hit the other side as well. Because she tries to cover all her bases here, but I don't think it's not going to work. Because I've seen a lot of videos coming out where her pro-Hamas base, they're not going to vote for her even after this speech. They're not doing it. So.
And I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7th.
See, they're not gonna. They don't like that.
Including
that made them very upset.
Sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time,
so this is where she goes back.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking.
Look, you can't. She's trying to appease both sides of it, and it's not going to work in her favor. It's just not. Her trying to play both sides of that aisle, it's not going to work. And the videos that I've been seeing, it's not working at all. She can say what she wants. I don't see it going in her favor. I think she's probably alienated a big portion of her base just in that. And you could see she was nervous when she was even saying it. I could tell she was nervous. Maybe I was wrong, but to me it seemed like she was real nervous with that part of that speech. Real nervous. She didn't want to say that. She wanted that to be left alone. She might fire somebody after that, putting that in her speech. But anyway, we're going to move on. Look, because she rambles on. Her biggest talking point was the abortion thing. She's going to make it a federal policy to where women can have abortions up to and including birth. Okay, that's their stance on it. That's Tim Walz's stance on it. He's made it that way in Minnesota. That you can't argue against that because that's their policies. That's what they think. That's what they want. That's what they're going to put in if those two become president and vice president. That's just the way it's going to be. Anyway, I'm going to move on. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about RFK. Okay, RFK Jr. come out and he suspended his campaign. Okay, he didn't completely drop out. He's leaving his name on the ballot in states that are, mostly blue, and he's going to removed his name from the ballots in swing states and battleground states, swing states, and he has encouraged his followers and the people that were going to support him to back Trump. Okay, because he says in his speech that after the assassination attempt on President Trump, that him and Trump had a sit down and a conversation, and he said that they don't agree with, they don't agree on everything together, but he agrees with the path that President Trump wants to put America back onto, and that's why he's backing President Trump. But I'm just going to play just a little clip of it because this was on Saturday, and the Trump rally that he had on Saturday. So
his candidacy has inspired millions and millions of Americans, raised critical issues that have been too long ignored in this country, and brought together people from across the political spectrum in a positive campaign grounded in the American values of his father, Robert Kennedy, a great man, and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. And I know that they are looking down right now, and they are very, very proud of Bobby. I'm proud of Bobby. You want to know the truth?
The best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country.
That's what Trump wants to do.
And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country?
Yes. Look, there was a lot.
His candidacy is.
There's a lot more. RFK Jr. He had his speech was a little bit less than 10 minutes, and it was a good speech. And I wouldn't have voted for RFK if he was, in the actual Democratic Party anymore. There's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with that he does, but overall, I do think that he wants to take America back to where it was a good place to be for everybody, and he wants to grow the middle class, and he wants to take care of our kids. That I can get behind, and he sees that Trump wants the same thing, so he's backing him. And I was telling my wife, this is going to open the floodgates. Okay, RFK, his family name, Kennedy, is going to bring over all kinds of people from the Democratic Party, because what RFK did say it in his speech, that the Democratic Party that his father and his uncle was a part of, it's not that way anymore, and they don't have the same values that they did. It's just not the same, and they don't have the same ideals, and he can see that a lot of their policies are going to bring about communism, and I have to agree with them. So I think him backing Trump, like I said, is going to open the floodgates. There's going to be a lot of Democrats who are scared or unable to come and start leaning the other way. Even if they don't completely leave the Democratic Party, I think you're going to see a lot more people on the Democratic side that are going to start coming out. Because, like I said, Kennedy is his big family name, and I think there's going to be more people that follow suit. And then today, like I said, Tulsi Gabbard, which I really like Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, if there was any Democrat out there that I was going to vote for, it would have been her. Okay, not saying I would have. There was some stuff that she had put out as far as policies when she was running in 20. That I said, no, I don't really agree with that. But overall, I think she was a good candidate, and I like her military background. I'm a vet, I like people to have served. Being a vet myself, I just think, and I people can debate me on this, but I think personally, if you're going to run for the president of the United States, I think, and this includes Trump now, and I like Trump a lot. But this includes him. If you're going to run for the president of the United States and be in charge of our armed forces, to be the commander-in-chief, I think you have to at least served in the military at some capacity. So that just that way you have a certain understanding of how everything works before you just go and order people into a war zone or you start having negotiations with foreign powers. That's just me. I know it's not a requisite for the position. That's just how I feel. I think it should be a requirement for the President of the United States to be in charge, to be the commander in chief. I would like a basic understanding of how the military actually works for you to be their commander in chief. But that's, like I said, that's just me. That's just me. But that being said, I do like Tulsi. I do like her a lot. I think she completely obliterated Kamala Harris in the 2020 debates in the primaries. I think she's completely destroyed her. And that was after that debate is when Harris dropped out and didn't receive a single vote in that nomination process. So, like I said, I like Tulsi. Let's take a look at this. Like I said, I like her. So,
And today I'm honored to officially welcome another true American patriot, a 17-year veteran of the Hawaii Army National Guard, a 4-term Democrat congresswoman, very, very popular, the former vice chair of the National Democratic Party and a 2020 Democrat candidate for the United States presidency. You know, she was a very good candidate. Every time she ran, she was good. She did well.
she was a good candidate.
She couldn't take it anymore, but she is very special. And I didn't know this, but she was a lieutenant colonel. That's not bad. Lieutenant colonel.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. I didn't know that. You know, I just found out. I said, put it down. You got to put that down. That's bigger. That's better than all the other stuff.
Higher rank than I ever got.
But no, she's a special person. She's got great common sense, great spirit. She loves our country, and she loves the people in this room. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, please.
Now I wonder. This is just a random thought that just came to me as I was watching this again. Now, when RFK come on the stage with President Trump, they played "My Hero" by the Foo Fighters, which has got all kinds of other stuff going on with it now too. But maybe it's because it's in the National Guard Hall. They didn't have no like intro music for her or anything. I don't know. That's just something that came to mind. Maybe she just, I don't know if it's because it's in a National Guard Hall or if it's just because she said, I don't need no music, because she doesn't. But anyway.
Thank you. Have a good time. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Aloha. I know we got Hawaii in the house here. There we go. It is a privilege to be here with all of you, my brothers and sisters in uniform, especially on this day of all days. I had the privilege of joining President Trump this morning at Arlington Cemetery, where he joined 2 Gold Star families and loved ones of Staff Sergeant Hoover and Sergeant G, both of whom were 2 of the 13 killed in the Abbey Gate attack 3 years ago today in Kabul. And I can tell you, as we were there, as he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, joining these Marines' loved ones, I felt the sorrow that he shared with them in their loss. I felt and saw his sincere appreciation for these servicemen and women who paid the ultimate price and their loved ones who continue to grieve to this day.
You know, a lot of the Democrats are saying how much President Trump dislikes the military and that he called them suckers and losers, which wasn't true. Look, I have not seen in my lifetime a president who stood up for the armed forces more than President Trump did. He brought us back to strength after Obama completely annihilated the armed forces. I mean, believe me, I know. And he came in and he made a lot of things better. I'm a veteran. He made a lot of things better for me, you know, post service. So I don't care what anybody says. I don't believe for 1 nanosecond that man does not love the military.
This is personal for me, as I know it is for so many of you here. This is real. It's not just words. I first deployed to Iraq in 2005 with the Hawaii Army National Guard as a member of Charlie Med. As those of you who were deployed during that time know, it was the height of the war, and sadly, we took many casualties. And every day we were confronted with that high human cost of war and that sadness as we boarded the plane when we left, that we were leaving some of our brothers and sisters behind, only to lose others when we got home to suicide. So I mean what I say when I share with you that I know that President Trump understands the grave responsibility that a president and commander-in-chief bears for every single one of our lives. Whether you're a soldier, you're an airman, a Marine, sailor, or a coastie, he keeps us in his heart in the decisions that he makes. We saw this through his first term in the presidency, when he not only didn't start any new wars, he took action to de-escalate and prevent wars. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, having the courage to meet with adversaries, dictators, allies, and partners alike in the pursuit of peace, seeing war as a last resort. The truth is, as we head towards our decision as a country in November, the same cannot be said about Kamala Harris. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as this administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts and regions around the world, and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House, where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief.
Okay, so there's that. Now, yeah. So, like I said, I like Tulsi Gabbard. I really do. And she nailed it on the head there. You know, they've been in office for 3.5 years. They've gotten us into this mess. Now, a lot of Kamala in her speech at the DNC said that, you know, she was an ally to Putin, and he said that I don't care what Putin does. He can do whatever the heck he wants. And the quote was out of context. And just think about the fact that when these people say that Putin and Trump were allies and friends and whatever, okay. But think about it this way. When Trump was in office, Putin didn't do anything. But as soon as Harris and Biden got into there is when he made his push on Ukraine. But it was only after the Afghanistan pullout that was completely jacked up, and it was mishandled and just a cluster F. I mean, it shouldn't have gone down the way it did. And, I mean, foreign powers are going to see that and be like, oh, these guys are idiots. That's why they moved on them. But, I mean, he did the same thing when Obama was in office, you know. So, Trump was the one that he, you know, took out the ISIS leader, and he kept us out of any new wars. And he was starting to get peace in the Middle East. I mean, what other leader has done that? None. Ever? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there is. Anyway, don't believe what these people tell you. The Democrats, they just lie, and they'll do anything to stay in power. And everything that I saw out of the DNC this last week was nothing but hate and lies and attacks on Trump. Don't believe everything they say. If you really think something is true that they're saying, look it up. Do the same thing for President Trump. You don't believe him? Look it up. Make your own decisions. Don't let them make them for you. Anyways, that's what I got for you all night. If you like, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you hanging out. And I hope y'all enjoy a wonderful evening. Thanks.